Hi, Emma. Today, I'll be discussing my client, Sophie. She's 32, studying at a postgraduate level and working part-time in marketing. Sophie has been struggling with managing the demands of work and study. She is reported feeling overwhelmed by tasks, procrastinating on things that she knows are important, and then feeling anxious and disappointed in herself afterwards. This ongoing cycle has started to impact her confidence and her belief in her ability to keep up. She describes feeling mentally foggy, easily distracted, and worried that she won't perform well enough. This contributes to avoidance and rushing her tasks at the last minute. Overall, the key concerns are performance-related anxiety, executive functioning difficulties such as task initiation and organization, and self-doubt that is reinforced over time. For my upcoming session with Sophie, I want to focus specifically on helping her identify one core automatic thought that tends to arise when she avoids starting a task. The idea is to capture that moment right before the procrastination happens and understand what she is telling herself that drives the avoidance. The reason for this focus is that these moments appear to be central to her distress. When she delays something, her anxiety grows, and then the belief that she is not capable becomes stronger. If we can intervene earlier in that cycle by understanding the thoughts that spark the procrastination, we can begin creating shifts in her emotional response and behavior. These short-term goals align with her broader, long-term aim of being more consistent in her follow-through and feeling more confident in her ability to handle workload challenges. Early cognitive insight also tends to increase treatment credibility and motivation to practice skills outside of the session. I will be using cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, with Sophie. CBT is well supported for both anxiety and the behavioral patterns that she is experiencing. It focuses directly on the relationship between thoughts, feelings, and behavior, which maps very clearly onto Sophie's experience. When she thinks, I am not going to do this well, anxiety increases and the behavior becomes avoidance or procrastination. CBT has strong evidence for improving emotional and functional outcomes in adults. It has also been shown to help adults who experience attentional and executive functioning challenges similar to Sophie's procrastination, improving daily organization and self-efficacy. Importantly, these improvements are often maintained, even months after therapy ends. CBT is structured, practical, and skills focused, which fits Sophie's preference for having clear strategies that she can put into practice straight away. Behavioral strategies such as graded task planning can support early success experiences, and the cognitive work can help her shift the beliefs that currently undermine her confidence. If strong self-criticism emerges as a barrier, I may weave in elements consistent with ACT, such as diffusion techniques or gentle values-based reflections, but CBT will remain the primary framework. There are a couple of things that I am mindful of going into this session. Sophie's anxiety and high expectations of herself may make it harder for her to concentrate and engage with structured CBT tasks. Her current sleep disruption and workload stress could also reduce her cognitive stamina. I will be careful to keep the session focused on one or two key skills and check that the language and examples are clear and concrete. She is reflective and insightful, so involving her actively in generating ideas should be a strength that we can build on together. A potential bias for me is anchoring too strongly on one explanation for her difficulties, which could narrow my focus. To avoid diagnostic overshadowing, I will continue grounding my choices in the formulation and checking my assumptions in supervision with you. I am also naturally more action-orientated, so I will need to ensure that I do not push ahead too quickly or overload her with strategies. Making sure the plan is realistic and supportive is essential for maintaining momentum and confidence early in therapy. So here is how I will structure the section. I will start with a brief check-in. So we'll start with how her mood is, her anxiety levels, how she slept, and any important experiences since the last session. This helps gauge cognitive and emotional readiness. We will put together a collaborative agenda. I will suggest focusing on one task that she has avoided, looking at thoughts and emotional responses, and ending with one realistic behavioral step that she can practice. I will check whether this matches what she feels would be most helpful for the session that day. I will then ask Sophie whether she noticed any progress or effort since our last session, big or small. This is going to gently shift away from this all or nothing performance thinking, which she often feeds the anxiety. We will then explore a recent real life example where she felt stuck. Using guided discovery, I will help her unpack what was happening, how anxious she felt, what she noticed in her body, and importantly, what she was saying to herself in that moment. We will then write down the situation, the automatic thought, the emotion, and then look at evidence for and against the thought before creating a more balanced alternative. This will help externalize the thought and help reduce its emotional impact. We will then explore how the new balanced thought might influence what she could do next time. We will plan one small behavioral step that she feels confident to try, such as a short timed start to a task. Sophie will practice the same thought record once across the week and attempt the planned behavioral action. We will briefly identify potential barriers and problem solve reminders or support to help with follow through. I will finally ask Sophie to summarize what she found most useful and check how she felt about the pace and the focus. This will allow me to adjust in the next session while reinforcing learning. Overall, this plan aims to strengthen Sophie's belief that she can influence how she feels and act in challenging moments. Even one small behavioral success can start to shift the entire cycle that she is stuck in, helping her move forward and towards her broader goals of consistency, confidence, and reduced anxiety. I would welcome any feedback from you about pacing and structure or anything further that I should consider in managing her anxiety while keeping the session focused and useful for her. Thank you so much.